So for people who think maybe bad guys don't ever pay for their crimes, good guys never win. You remember the IRS whistleblowers that blew the whistle on Hunter Biden's tax crimes? These are the guys who said, wait, there's something going on. We were told not to look into it. They slow-walked it, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they were smeared and really destroyed. And one of the guys is pretty amazing. He's known throughout the world. This is an IRS agent, known throughout the world for his work on global tax enforcement. He was selected to create a new international organization called the Joint Chiefs of Global Tax Enforcement. He's a supervisory special agent of the International Tax and Financial Crimes Group, where he leads 12 elite special agents who are subject matter experts in complex international tax and other related financial crimes. The guy has, he started his career as a AmeriCorps volunteer, then he went to work for the Defense Department and Intel, and then he joined the IRS and criminal investigations. He's out to get the bad guys. He joins us now. Welcome, Gary Shapley. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me, Glenn. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for your courage, for speaking out. Thank you for doing the right thing. I also want to bring in Tristan Levitt. Tristan is a guy who worked with Chuck Grassley trying to help all of the whistleblowers. He helped expose Operation Fast and Furious and a lot of different things, and is really strong on protecting the whistleblowers. They are so important. Tristan, welcome.
Thank you so much, Glenn.
So where do we start, Gary? Because you are now suing Hunter Biden, and you're suing him for, what, $20 million?
Yeah, to be clear, we're the alleged defamation is against Abbe Lowell, the attorney for Hunter Biden, and the amount is $10 million for me and also Joe Ziegler for a total of $20 million. Yes.
So what do you claim they did?
So the complaint alleges that Mr. Lowell defamed us, and it was part of an overall smear campaign to attack both Joe Ziegler and I for coming forward, following the law, going to Congress, and disclosing the preferential treatment that his client was receiving by the Department of Justice. And our disclosures weren't even though Hunter Biden was the topic, our disclosures were against the malfeasance at Department of Justice, FBI, and IRS. So it's really interesting that it was this third party that came in and became the, as alleged in our complaint, the main defamer and smearer of both Joe Ziegler and I.
So, Tristan, that is not uncommon, though, is it? I mean, you're a whistleblower. They attack whistleblowers now like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I testified yesterday in front of 2 days ago, in front of the Weaponization Committee, and there were 3 of our FBI clients that have been there in the past, and one was with me again. And it's very, very common for whistleblowers to be, lied about and defamed. And so that's part of why we really want to create consequences for that. We started, we are funding this lawsuit that Gary and Joe are bringing against Abbe Lowell, our organization, Empower Oversight, that I'm the president of. And we want to, if this is a way to hold people accountable, we want to do it in other cases, because we just think that there's never any consequences for people just lying with impunity. They just get away with it. And so we want to fight back, and that's not something that you see happen a lot. And so that's why we're trying to raise money from the public. We have this website, defendwhistlblowers.com, to build up this fund precisely for suits like this, where Gary and Joe were just trying to do the right thing. And, they went to Congress to do what was right. But again, as so often happens, they were lied about. But in their case, it can have real consequences for their careers.
I will tell you, I saw one of the whistleblowers, Marcus Allen, with the FBI. That guy seemed like he was dirt strong in standing up for the right thing, but he looks like he had been dragged through and just punched repeatedly in the gut. It was amazing to watch him. These whistleblowers are really, truly the best of America.
Yeah, I sat right next to him as he gave that statement the other day, as I testified there also. And he has, unlike some of the other whistleblowers that testified with us a year and some change ago, he's not been on social media. He's just been holding it in so that we could get his pay reinstated and get his security clearance back. And now that he finally is through all of that, this was his real, this was the first time people saw just everything he's been through.
It's horrible. So what are the odds of, what are you fighting against? They're going to fight you with everything they have and lots of money. Law firms do not want this one to win.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So, yeah, the real thing that, Gary and Joe, Gary can share this, right? But I mean, they're not suing for the money in any way, right? I mean, yes, it's a $20 million defamation suit, but the point of this is that they, that as alleged in the complaint, it's not right for someone like Abbe Lowell, who's well-known, identified as a really big name, a really big litigator. He represented, Jared and Ivanka Trump even. But for him to go, if he goes on TV and says, these guys broke the law by sharing Hunter Biden's tax information with Congress, lots of people believe it. And even Mitch Langberg, the defamation attorney who's representing, our defamation expert on our legal team, who is one of the foremost experts in the country, without having a background, he said, my general impression was these guys had broken the law until he studied this case and read what we shared. And he said, wow, they haven't been treated fairly here. And so, we want to educate the public and set this right so that people know these guys did, not only the right thing, but they did it in the right way.
So, Gary, did you at all have conversations amongst yourself of, should we do this? It's going to happen to us. Did you have that conversation?
Well, I mean, overall, right, people say, why'd you come forward? And it really wasn't a choice for me. Just my conscience wouldn't allow me to sit there knowing what I knew and seeing what was going to happen in this case. So, I mean, of course, we talked about the risks, but at the same time, fortunately for the American people, unfortunately for me personally, the risks were real, and many of them are coming to fruition through retaliation by my employer, IRS, and the Department of Justice against me. So I went in with my eyes wide open, and I have no regrets. I feel like we've been vindicated by you went from charges that weren't even going to be charged, that even before the generous plea deal fell apart, where he was going to have to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanors. They were going to give him a deferred prosecution agreement, and when we were coming forward, DOJ and David Weiss knew that we were coming forward. He said, "Oh no, that's not going to work out. So we're going to have to make him plead guilty." And then, of course, the judge had the amicus brief from Congress where they included our testimony that they voted out and made public. And, that information made it pretty clear that Hunter Biden was receiving that preferential treatment. And once again, it's the Department of Justice and IRS here that is the one that engaged in the conduct in which we blew the whistle against. So, I have no regrets, and I hope the American people have confidence in the IRS and of government employees because of what Joe and I did.
Here's what I would like you to do. If you have $5, there is nothing better than cleaning out this rat's nest of liars and thieves in our Justice Department, in all throughout the government. They have to be taught a lesson. And unless we do it from the outside, the inside's never going to punish itself. And I would urge you to go to Empower, EMPOWR.US, and if you can, make a donation. This thing's going to cost a lot of money, but we have to have the best lawyers on it. We have to have the strongest case possible. Otherwise, this continues over and over and over again, and good people are destroyed. So please go to Empower, EMPOWR, no E there, .US, and give if you can. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Glenn.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
You bet. Bye-bye. Let me just play this whistleblower. So this guy is the guy that Tristan was just talking about, that he sat next to. I don't know if you saw this, but he's an FBI agent who was a whistleblower, life destroyed. hasn't said anything publicly until the other day. And listen to what he said. It's cut 3.
I consider the hearing today my last act of service as a public servant for the United States of America. And I'll give you my professional opinion. I was an intel professional for our country for many years, and I would give recommendations, and I'd also look at indications and warnings. So I would offer this to the American people as my warning to them. Since this is a warning to the American people, I say, I personally have no confidence that the FBI will rein in its own conduct. I've been persecuted along with Garrett, Steve and Kyle, and countless other whistleblowers. It is my opinion that the Bureau used reprisal and fear to control the workforce. It has been a seemingly effective tactic. I personally believe that there are no current effective checks and balances against them conducting lawless action with any type of correction in a legitimate time frame. Wow. I welcome the work of the IG, but I think any type of lawless action, there's no legitimate time frame to rein them back in. Their ability to overclassify information can allow them to stonewall forever. To the American people, you have a duty as a citizen to vote, and I strongly urge you to do so. It's how you participate in the American experience. I know people have doubts about election integrity, but you must vote. It is your claim. Stake your claim and don't forfeit it willingly. Have your voice heard. My other recommendations are in the natural order. First, vote. The second is the Second Amendment. Arm yourself and know how to defend yourself. Make 3 to 4 friends in your neighborhood and promise to come to each other's mutual aid in times of hardship. And during the Great Depression, people stocked up a pantry. So I think that's a good practice, especially in our economic times, and make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food. And as a person of faith, I'd say pray the rosary. Go to the First Friday devotions. That's for everybody, all my brothers and sisters of all faiths, and I know I'm Catholic. And read the gospel of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and live it every day. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for the time.
Do you hear how his voice is shaking?
Yeah.
This is, how do people dismiss that warning? That is, I mean, we are living in unprecedented times, and I tweeted that out the other day. I should retweet it now. These guys are so brave, and you can tell they're not playing politics. Listen to that warning and share it with your friends.